Hello!
Hi, everyone.
Well, I don't know how many people are going to be here. I mean, I know Pedro and actually Jamie are watching right now, but I'm definitely going to put this on the channel, or rather on the Instagram account, so you can watch the whole thing in its entirety. Plus, I want to try and turn it into a podcast too. So,
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about an audience or not an audience or anything like that. How are you doing? I haven't seen you. This is so cool.
I know, right?
What's new?
Not much, considering we're still on lockdown.
So, is there any like movement? Do you think like what's? I mean, I'm asking you a question that's impossible to answer, but like, with your hand on the pulse to the best of your ability, do you think you guys are getting kind of close to opening gyms at least?
Supposedly, June 2nd, I think, is when gyms are going to start to open. Obviously, still the social distancing and everything. But I think the last time I heard it was like June 2nd. Might be later. I don't know.
What's it like when you go out into like a supermarket and stuff? Like how many people are wearing masks and that kind of thing?
Everyone is wearing masks. It's actually, you can't go into the store without a mask. They'll probably kick you out.
Okay, so the businesses are making it mandatory to wear a mask when you go in there. Okay.
Yep.
I would say down here, like if you go to a Publix, I would say like anywhere between 60 and 80% of the people wear masks. All the employees are wearing masks, but it's not obligatory.
No, everyone has to wear masks.
Okay. All right. So how long were you able to train Jiu-Jitsu up in Connecticut before the lockdown happened?
Probably like 3 months.
3 months?
And then everything went to crap.
Oh, Jesus. What's it like at your new gym up there?
It's pretty good. It was still a new environment before I stopped training. Like I was just getting the hang of things with new people, and then so it's definitely more of a competition thriving gym, whereas ours was not that. Me and you would laugh the entire time we're rolling and stuff, and it's more competing driven. So
okay. And they're enforcing the rules. You told me that like you can't use certain, and because of your belt level, they've
I was slapped on the wrist for trying to toe hold someone. Yes.
That's amazing. Wow.
In gi. Apparently in no gi, I could have, but because I was a blue belt in gi and technically I'm not allowed to toe hold, I was, looked down upon for toe holding.
Oh no. Did you go to any other gyms when you were before finding this one? Because I know you had done research prior to your move from Orlando up there, and this was like on your list. But did you actually visit any other gyms in person before settling on this one?
Not really, because the ones that I did happen to like, I found out were a lot farther away than I thought. Like the one that I showed you before was like a 45-minute drive, and I was like, I'm not doing that every day. Okay.
Dang. All right. So
and then the other ones I didn't really vibe with.
Yeah. Well, finding a gym is definitely like, or finding a people at the gym that you vibe with is definitely like, I mean, I think we lucked out, at least in Orlando, and being able to find another place that has a similar vibe with people that you get along with, you have fun training with is hard.
Exactly.
What's the level like up there? How does it compare? If we gym rated you guys, what do you think would happen?
I don't know, because I haven't had the chance to meet like everyone yet.
Okay, fair enough.
I would say though that our gi classes, there's a lot more people.
Okay.
Like I think our gym's volume was more. There was more girls.
Really, in our school? Yeah. It's even less females up there.
I haven't even looked at like competition yet, because we all know that my weight class is like stucky for competition. Mm-hmm. There's never any girls who compete like past middleweight, so super hard already. So I haven't even seen what that population is and how that would fare here. Mm-hmm. but I guess we'll see.
So what's your average class size, like for a gi class?
Maybe, trying to think, maybe like 12 people.
And that is an all levels class, a fundamentals class, or like a non-fundamentals class?
At my current school, it's all levels. It's not separated
Okay.
between intro and advanced.
Okay. And what's like your breakdown of like white belts versus colored belts, that sort of thing? There's
definitely not a lot of color belts.
Oh, okay.
There's maybe 2 purple belts I've seen and 2 brown belts and maybe like 3 or 4 blue belts, and then the rest are white belts.
Okay.
So yeah.
And is there as many students in gi versus no gi, or is that something where there's more no gi grapplers?
I think it's heavily on no gi.
Okay.
I think a lot of people there prefer no gi and do no gi more than gi. So yeah.
Is it you guys? Your school has an MMA team, correct? Or at least does MMA classes?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where, like, if you were to say what the focus of the school is there one particular discipline? Is it MMA? Is it submission grappling? Is it gi jiu-jitsu? Is it Muay Thai? Like, where do you think the emphasis is?
I would think submission grappling.
Okay.
That's where a lot of them do compete in. As far as I know, I haven't gotten to know them that much, and that, but I've done some Instagram stalking, so
Yeah.
I see that it's more no-gi competitions. I haven't seen anyone really do any gi competitions, to be honest, so
Okay.
I might be bringing that in.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to play spider guard and submission grappling when you got no.
Yeah, exactly. I try.
You try to grab some wrists. And just
Yeah.
I actually met a guy who actually believed. I wouldn't say he believed in it, but he did say, "I'll play spider guard by grabbing the wrist," because he thinks you'll get severe arthritis if you grab, if you grab the gi for extended periods of time, and are putting that mangling pressure on your fingers. So it's just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen anyone at a competition level actually hold wrists, so I don't know if it works, but we'll see. So Michelle, I know like bits and pieces of how you got into jiu-jitsu. I know it involved PSL. I know it involved like Dean a little bit. Can you just walk me through that? Because I don't have the complete picture. What got you into jiu-jitsu in the first place?
I had a lot of mental health issues going on.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of anxiety, depression, PTSD, a lot of crap going on. I was also, actually it was such a long time ago. I'm trying to remember. But I needed something to do. Like I just moved to Florida. I've originally wanted to do kickboxing because I was like, I like boxing. I would do kickboxing classes.
Mm-hmm.
And that gym was the closest kickboxing one to me because they had those classes there. So when I went, Dan Donaldson, showed me the schedule, and he was like, "Oh, are you interested in any of these other things?"
Now,
and
what age were you at this time? What age were you? Sorry to interrupt.
I was 21.
Okay.
I was 20. Yeah, because I started drinking. I was 21.
Yeah. This is how we remember.
So, yeah, he was like, "Oh, are you interested in any of these other classes?" And I was like, what's jiu-jitsu? And he was like, "Well, it's kind of like grappling." So they gave me like an intro to it. And that's basically like, they showed me a couple moves, and I was like, "Yeah, I can try this out." And then I started doing that, and that's where it all happened. Like, I was literally there after work until it was time to go to bed most days. Like, I was there for gi class, MMA class, kickboxing class, and then I would go home. So sometimes I was there like 3 hours a day.
So you did MMA too?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I did MMA
See, I knew there were gaps in this story. Okay, so you were around around 21 at the time you were drinking, and you started jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were training every day, or as many days as the gym offered for the most part.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, what was your reaction to it? You said like you felt like you could do it, but like how quickly did you get into jiu-jitsu?
I got into it very quickly. Like I literally wanted to go every day. Like that was my thing. Like even open mats. Like some days I would like stop by and then I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab my gi and I'll be right back. And I'd stay for open mats and I would do that all the time too. So I was like, mind you, I think they were open every day too, if I remember correctly. Cause like Sundays was like kickboxing class in the morning and stuff like that. So I'd hang out and yeah, it became a lifestyle.
Yeah. Who was teaching at the time?
Dean wasn't there that much. It was Anthony Esposito, who has his own gym now too I think it's in Stewart. He has his own gym in Stewart now. He was a brown belt at the time. He was teaching majority of classes at the time.
Okay. And how long, so take me through from starting your training there to migrating to Orlando and ultimately training at ATT Orlando with us.
I moved to Orlando by myself. I wasn't near any of my family in Orlando because my family lives like 2 hours away. I had my own apartment. I was living by myself. I couldn't afford to take classes for a while, so I did take time off. Occasionally I would like join in a gym for like one day just to like see how it is and, you know, decide maybe I want to join this gym or not, but finances were never really in my favor at the time because I had a car that constantly broke down and I didn't have any friends or family near me. So, yeah, so that was the issue then. And then eventually I got a raise. I got a car. I was able to join a gym. And that's where ATT Orlando came in. And I came in with my 4-striped white belt.
How many years had you been training up until that point, would you say?
I think 1 year. Yeah, 1 year.
Okay. So 1 year and then whatever time that you were not training because of having to get your finances ordered, the move and all that stuff. That's how much you were training. Okay, and when did you start?
I trained 1 year, and then I came to Orlando, and then when I started training there, it was like kind of restarting because it had been like 2 years since I was training. So I had to like kind of.
So you trained for a year and then basically had 2 years off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
And how did you come upon our gym?
I Googled because at first I lived near Longwood. So I went to a class there first. And then when I moved, Orlando was the closest gym, like literally down the street from me. Mm-hmm. So, and American Top Team is the name that I knew. Like that was my first gym. That's where I started learning stuff. So I was like, if I go to American Top Team, I feel more comfortable. You know, the name sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. So then I went there and then come to find out Paul knew Dean, who was one of my instructors from previously. So I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. So that definitely, that common bond definitely makes. So how did it feel so when exactly did you start again? Because I feel like you were already training when I started. So I'm trying to figure out like sometime in early 2007 or not 2007, 2017 or when do you think?
I was like, what?
Yeah. No.
Let's see, 2007. Yeah. No, I think I did start around the time you did.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember like who was.
Was Victor already there when you started?
Was he?
Because Victor started a few months before me, I think in like September.
Maybe.
Okay, so sometime probably later on in 2017, you started.
Yeah.
How did it feel? How did you feel grappling after 2 years of not training regularly?
Oh my God, that was the worst. I I
And wearing
was
4 stripes on that belt. They're like, ooh, look at this 4-stripe white belt.
I was so scared of the warm-ups because I knew that was gonna kill me. Like grappling someone, whatever, destroy me. I know I'm gonna get destroyed because I haven't done it in so long. But the warm-ups were like were so hard to get back into. And I remember like maybe like the second day I came back, Heather was paired up with me to grapple,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of just like mounted me and then was like, I just want to see what you got. And I was like, oh God. I was like, I haven't grappled in 2 or 3 years. Like, what?
Wow, that's pretty funny. I want to see what you got. Oh man. For those of you who know who we're talking about, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So, so yeah, what was it like getting started at the gym? Like, how long did it take? Well, I mean, just walk me through like that process of getting your blue belt. Then, like, how long did it get your jiu-jitsu legs back, and how did that process go? Like, getting acclimated.
It was a rough beginning because I had to remember, like, honestly, my body had pretty good memory when it came to certain moves and stuff like that, but I think when I restarted, I learned a lot quicker than when I started as a white belt. Like I like when I restarted this time after taking a break, I started getting things a lot quicker for some reason. And I think I think my mind was like mentally ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to, remember moves and body memory and all that stuff a lot quicker. But I think it took like 8 months from when I first started to get my blue belt. Because it was like
Okay.
restarting. It felt like restarting again. So, yeah, I think it took like 8 months. And it was funny because I thought I wasn't going to get my blue belt. I was like so ready to not get it.
Are you talking about like the day of promotions when he announces
Yes.
everybody and then he skips over, like he does all the blue belts yeah, and then you were sitting by yourself. So I'll tell this side of the story because I was there. I was sitting next to Amanda and, we're doing the
Like, I already
we're doing
said
the
it.
elbow,
I already
like,
said
hey,
it.
hey, hey, it's her turn, it's her turn. And then it's like, and now the purple belts. And now all the 4-stripe white belts that were sitting in a line have now left and gone one line forward. And you're sitting like on an island on the mat. This is during promotions when everyone is there and everyone's like packed together, but you're now on an island because what's happening with Michelle? Like, what's the deal with
Before
Michelle?
that happened, I was like, I would totally understand if I don't get my blue belt today. It's fine. And then that happened, and I remember turning around and looking at you guys like,
Yeah, I do remember. I remember you gave me. But yeah, he just kind of, I guess, Paul likes to fuck with people sometimes. So that was, so he
I was
did
the
a bit of
victim that day.
he did a bit of a mind fuck. So yeah, I think, I don't remember when he exactly called you up, but he definitely called you up. I think it was after like he was doing some purples. Like he had
Yeah,
gone
he
to,
did a couple purples, and then he called me
then
up,
he
and I was
called you.
like,
Yeah.
thank you, Paul. Thank you.
What how did it feel getting that blue belt? That was like your
Oh my
first
God.
promotion.
That was like I was on top of the world. That's probably on my list of like best accomplishments I've ever had, is getting that purple belt, because I'm like, yes, I have made it. I can now get more intense.
What so did it, like some people I remember when I was a 4-stripe white belt, and I don't know if we had this conversation, but I had this conversation with some guys that were blue belts, and I was like, does anything change? Like I heard these whispers like, oh, when you get your blue belt, get ready because everyone's going to maul you now because like the training wheels are off and it's going to get really rough and this. what was your experience making that transition from white to blue? Did your roles change? And some people I've heard on the flip side, just to really expand the idea here, is that I've heard Paul say that sometimes he'll belt someone up and they'll immediately get better because there's like a mental switch goes off, like, oh, now I am a blue belt. Now I can grapple better. It's almost like it helps people actually in some cases. So what was your experience when you became a blue belt and you were training with that blue belt around your waist?
Sorry, it was getting dark. Actually, I agree. I think the switch did go off in my brain on that. But also against other people I was grappling with in the gym were like, oh, you're a blue belt now. I'm not going to go easy on you. And I'm like, wait, you went easy on me before? I don't understand. I'll give you an example. JB.
Oh, my man.
JB kicked my ass so many times. So many times. There was the one class where I just got my blue belt, like maybe the month before or something. And he was like trying to teach me a lot. I gave him that. Like, he really did teach me a lot. But it was a small class and he was teaching, and he had me roll with Eli, and then he would switch on, like they would switch on and off. Mm-hmm. And freaking Eli, man, like,
once he connects those hands, he's gonna start squeezing.
Jesus. So it's me rolling with JB and Eli on and off. None of them went easy, by the way. There was no easy going in that rolls. So that was one of the things. And like, by the end of that class, like, I literally took my blue belt off and like I wanted to throw it at the wall. Like, I was like, I don't deserve this.
What so you mentioned that JB, tried to, teach you different things and stuff, and obviously JB was a guy who was he was teaching classes there before he left. But how does one like come at you with advice like that? Because there's some ways people, like, the unsolicited advice can also be taken the wrong way. Like, who the fuck are you telling me what to do? So it's like, how was JB able to present like these suggestions to you where you're like, hey, I'm open and receptive to this, and not like, hey man, I appreciate it, but I'm not going to listen to you right now. Like, this is like unwanted advice.
There's definitely a sense of humility. Like, JB was a brown belt. Like, mm-hmm. He was experienced, and like I knew he was good, and like I don't know, he kind of like, we would roll and he would kind of let me go ahead and do something or try something, and if it wasn't working, he'd be like, you know how best you can get this move, because he would like kind of guess at what I was trying to do, and he's like, all right, he's like, how to best get this way is do this and this and this. And then he would let me go try it, and then I'd do it, and it would work. And he's like, all right. And then at the end of the roll, he's like, all right, so you see that move you were doing, let's try it doing this way. It'll be more effective. You just kind of got to be humble, man. The higher belts know more.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If they're trying to show you something, like, okay, yeah, like, show me how to do that.
What were some of the things JB was showing you? Like, share
Dude.
The secrets.
Pressure.
Oh, okay.
JB was showing me how to apply pressure, because that is like super key element to have in jiu-jitsu, is how to apply that, even if you're smaller than your opponent. Like, how do you keep them down? How do you keep from not getting rolled over? How do you get out from under someone that's bigger than you? Like, JB was either pressure, or he was just like rolling all over you. Like, Dean too. Dean was one of those people who would like literally just pressure on top of you. You would not be able to move. Like, you need to learn how to take that and figure out how to get out of it. Shit.
I do remember, now that you mentioned that JB would oftentimes roll with you. Like, JB was pretty selective about who he rolled with. And I do remember him grabbing you on many occasions, which is cool, because clearly, he got something out of that role too, you know, and that says a lot about your jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? So I think that's a big compliment that he's paying you. So, yeah, JB, I miss JB. It's shitty when good grapplers that really contribute, you know, leave. So that was a loss when he left.
Yeah.
I remember him telling me, whenever I rolled with him, he was like, "You just gotta keep moving, man. You can't stop. When you're passing.
Yeah, that was his thing. Yep.
You gotta get off your feet. You gotta get off your knees. You gotta pass on your feet. You just gotta keep moving. You can't stall. You know, just gotta keep going." And then I remember
that was another thing. Yeah, I
remember the role I had where I was exhausted. I almost felt like because I at that time was trying to not be schizo, and he was almost asking me to be schizo again to a degree, you know, and just say, hey, trust the fact that you're not going to be schizo before because you're at least doing technique, but you're going to be. But I felt like a schizo again, and I was just scrambling and just being a little more wild, and I was exhausted afterwards. And he tied it up. He's like, all the roles should be like that, man. That's how it should be.
yeah. Nope. I would be completely gassed out from like trying to like, you know, get away from what he was trying to pull. I would be completely gassed out. I'd be like on my knees, like trying to go for a grip, and he's like, attack. He's like, attack. Do something. Come on. Don't stop. Let's roll. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's hilarious. Yeah. He last I've checked is he's up in Seattle and he's at a gym. I don't know exactly what gym, but I think he's working at Amazon and kind of just doing his thing, you know, JB being JB. Being that four-stripe brown belt is going to beat most black belts.
Seriously. I mean, the whole teaching of you gotta attack has definitely helped. Because like I'm an overthinker, and when jiu-jitsu, you can't, like, it's great to think. It's, you know, it's chess, but you also have to. You can't sit there and stall the entire time. You have to figure out a way to keep constantly trying to attack. So yeah. I picked that up. So especially rolling with you guys, man. There's no stalling. There's no effing way. We're gonna get through that. Yeah.
When did you develop your propensity or your like for spider guard?
As a white belt?
As a white belt? Like, was that something, it was just like you guys did a spider guard like section and you got into it, or how'd that come out?
We didn't even have a section of spider guard that I can remember. It was an open mat we had, and I was rolling with this girl who was a purple belt, and she did it to me, and she like controlled me, and I was like, wait, this is kind of cool. So I kind of like just picked it up from that. Like, I don't remember us having like an official class about spider guard until I came to ATT Orlando. Mm-hmm. And then we started learning about spider guard, but I had already been like practicing like every roll we went through. Like I was trying to do spider guard, or trying to figure out how to grip properly so that my fingers wouldn't hurt so much.
Well, I remember early on, like I would say a month or so into my time there, we went into a spider guard and lasso guard section. So that was probably January of 2018. So that was probably a few months into you being there. Yeah, we got to do a little spider guard, and Paul was saying how, well, I'm not sure if I want to show this, you know, to the next set of white belts because I'm debating if it's going to be in the curriculum or not and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so do you, like, how much do you spend looking at like YouTube videos and instructionals to augment?
If you follow me on Instagram, you know I post at least one jiu-jitsu video a day.
This is true. Your story is very
some
active.
Sort of cool move.
It's like your story is like memes, mental health awareness, Knox, your dog, and jiu-jitsu.
That is literally my life. That's my life. And I follow so many accounts, like so many different gyms in different locations. I follow different practitioners. I follow meme accounts for jiu-jitsu. So I'm looking at videos and competition videos, and I watch the IBJJF videos, and I'm pretty much, you could say I'm studying when I'm watching them. So I mean, that's where you kind of get your ideas for what to try to pull off next class. So
Yeah, is there any particular grappler or grapplers where you get some inspiration when it comes to the spider guard stuff?
not really, honestly. I haven't, the ones that I follow at least, I don't see much spider guard going on. And I don't know if it's because when you become a higher belt, it's not something you typically use. I'm not sure. Because like I follow a lot of black belts, a lot of brown belts. So I don't see it that often. So I don't know if it's something that like kind of falls off once you become a higher belt. But I've been following a lot of like I love Michelle Nicolini, like her guards and the way she moves. Like I love her. I'll watch all of her videos. But yeah, come to think of it, I'm like, I don't really see spider guard happening too much. Maybe it's because, you know, it hurts your fingers and that's crazy. Why are you doing that?
Well, I know some like practitioners that, you know, have won titles that play spider guard. The guy that comes to mind on the men's side is Humalo. So he's a Gracie Baja guy, and he plays spider. And actually, you'll be happy to know that I'm starting to play a lot more spider now. Like I feel like that's what I have to do to keep, because I know there's a lot of big guys that try to pass on their knees.
Oh God, it's great to do with bigger people.
Well, and also
Get
that
them,
stay on their knees, because that's
get them off balance, get them off balance, get them on the ground. Like there's so many different sweeps that I can't wait to like try. Like I don't even remember the names of them or exactly how they went. Like I know I have them like a bunch of saved in a playlist somewhere, probably on my Instagram on the save thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's so much that I'm like, that seems so cool. I've been in that position before. I need to use that next time. So I can't wait to start training again.
I hear you. I feel for you. You know, what? Yeah, it's so down here the gym's been open on Monday, so it's been open for a week now. But you know, not everyone came back, obviously, for various reasons. But the people that did come back definitely were like super thrilled to be back. Like the ones that they felt like, okay, I'm comfortable enough doing this. They definitely were like, oh my God, like I needed this. It was for those people. It was an orgasmic week for those people. Now other people, you know, are in situations where, you know, they're not comfortable yet, which is fine. I totally get that. But yeah, I feel you. I feel your pain. You know, it's tough. What you've been doing some drilling, I saw on social media, and more interestingly to me, you seem to have gotten on a meal plan or some sort of, I don't know if it was, see, this is where you can help me. I don't know if it was a diet plan, a workout plan, or a combination of the two, but you seemed like that's something you stuck to, and you're already like, you know, my body composition's different, like I feel strong and all this stuff. Like, so tell me about that.
I did both. I got a trainer who's actually local to my town, but she does online training, Gains by Tiff. She gave me a meal plan and workouts to start, which, by the way, was interrupted because of the freaking gyms closing. So literally, like
so this actually happened. Sorry to interrupt, but this happened prior to the shutdown. So you actually had gym workouts in a gym that you were doing.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But I had acquired a lot of home workout stuff in the years. Like I have a bunch of resistance bands, different weights and stuff like that. So literally, the morning that we found out our gyms were closing, like I was like, all right, I have to look up different things to do with the resistance bands. I have to find out, because I also have dumbbells. So, and then she sent me the same day, you know, things to do with that stuff. So I was like, I never kind of stopped. I just kept doing it. And also, I had it like, you know that the thing that you have like, oh, don't do cardio. Cardio is not going to help you lose weight, because if you lift more, that'll help you lose weight. That, you know, that whole mindset. Like I got into that and I started trying to lift more and like cut cardio off completely, which was probably my downfall in getting gassed out a lot. Because I would lift every day, like after, jiu-jitsu. And I tried to keep up with lifting here and not doing cardio. Well, I started doing cardio according to the workout plans and found out how bad I was at it.
Yeah.
So now every day I either do HIIT or some form of cardio or, something like that. And I'm finding out that I am getting better at it. So I'm like, when jiu-jitsu comes back, I'm not getting gassed out as quickly.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Is the cardio, like kind of a traditional cardio, like stationary bike, jogging, that sort of thing? Or is it more, like kettlebell workouts with lower weight, higher reps so you can keep the intensity up?
I hate running.
Okay, me too.
Despise running. I literally have a little heart attack every time Paul yells out jog as a warm-up because I hate it so much. But I live on the second floor of an apartment, and I can't like jump around and do burpees up here because of the people downstairs. So I found EMOM, which is every minute on the minute of doing something.
Okay.
That is so effective. So I'll like find like a few things to do. Like I'll do lunges, squats, stuff like that. So I'll find like a few things to do and literally just time it. Every minute I switch and do something else. Every minute I switch and do something else for 30 minutes. So I either do that or HIIT, which is the same thing. So I'll either have weights, bicep curls for 30 seconds, stop, doing shoulder presses for 30 seconds, stopping. So I found that helps a lot. Granted, my weights are like 15 pounds each, so I'm not really lifting that much, but it's going to keep the heart rate up, and mainly I'm really just trying to last throughout every role in class and not take a break.
So how many days a week are you doing strength and conditioning?
5.
5 days a week, okay.
5 days a week, yeah.
And how long roughly is one of your workouts typically?
It can be, if I'm doing like a workout like biceps and back and then my cardio, that'll probably be like an hour. If I'm just doing cardio or HIIT for that day, it'll probably be like 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, cool. So what about the nutrition side of things? What have you been doing on that side of things? Because I saw that was another facet of this. Is that also from Gains by Tiff? That's the name?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that also from her, or is that a different plan?
No, that's from her. And I'm so grateful for that because I've had a love-hate relationship with food forever. Like, I've had eating disorders and stuff like that. So when, like, I did keto, like, right before was it the second competition? No, the first competition. I did keto before my first competition. The one that I lost because I had pulled a muscle on my back? Mm-hmm. That one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
I did keto that one, and I lost, like, 10 pounds. But that is not sustainable. Like, I like tacos. I like drinking, and it wasn't sustainable at all. So, like, I had a love-hate relationship with carbs and stuff like that, and I didn't know how to eat. And it turns out that I started eating, like, way less than I should have, trying to cut the carbs. Trying to cut the carbs. So I started eating way less than I should have with the amount of working out that I was doing. So I was at the gym doing jiu-jitsu, sometimes 2 classes, and then lifting weights after or before, and not eating that much.
So you're at a severe caloric deficit and actually kind of starving your body because you're doing all this athletic activity.
It ruined my metabolism. Like, my metabolism was shot. So when I got to Connecticut and I wanted to get adjusted with my new job before I started to join a gym again, I kind of just went in a bulk mode because I was like, all right, well, I started doing research and I'm like, my body, like, my metabolism is messed up. I'm realizing that, and I need to start eating more to get used to it. So I started doing that, and then I was lifting weights. And then I was like, all right, I got to a point where I was like, okay, now I need to do something to get my body healthy again because now I'm eating too much and I'm gonna start training again. So that's when the whole dieting happened. And now, like, her meal plan included carbs, where I was like, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
I have to eat carbs. So I got accustomed to that, and I was eating more carbs and everything, and it definitely helped. Like I realized that I was eating carbs and started looking better regardless. So like it's actually working. I can actually eat carbs. What is this magic?
Yeah.
So I mean, I have my cheat days here and there. Like, I have pizza. I have, I think I cheated like maybe once or twice. Like I would crave a cookie. I had a cookie. Like I'm not gonna say no.
How many calories are you trying to hit each day?
I actually don't have that in mind because I become obsessed. So I kind of like, it's a mental thing. Like I have it mentally that, all right, well, if I eat this and this and this in the morning, that's pretty much equivalent to what I used to eat before on the meal plan and stuff like that. And that would be fine. So like I kind of have to keep it like that because if I put it into numbers, I would become overly obsessed with it. And that won't be good.
You make like a Google Doc, a Google spreadsheet, and start
Yeah.
entering all
Yeah.
that stuff.
I'm really into spreadsheets, man.
I know. I have a couple friends that are like that, and that's why I'm like, it's like So I bet you made a Google spread, like for your move to Connecticut, you had at least one, probably multiple spreadsheets made for the move and budgets
Yes.
and inventory of what to move and all this stuff.
I did.
I mean, you have like this is what, like one of my friends is a project manager. It's like perfect for that mindset. So having that mindset's good for certain jobs. Like you'll be all over it. You're like, hey, you forgot to do this. I have it in inventory right here in this column H, row C here. So what got you into wanting to compete?
I don't know really.
Is it fair to say that when you started in Orlando that you didn't have interest in or that much interest in competing yet when you first started?
Correct. I wasn't that, like, I just wanted to get better. That was like my goal, was I just wanted to get better. But I think rolling with the people that I rolled with out there, it was like, it was fun, but it was also competitive. And at the time I was just like, I just want to compete for fun. Like if I win, that'd be awesome. But like just to have the experience would be fine too, even though like it gave me anxiety right before. But
everyone's stressed out. You get nerves, you get butterflies.
like I was on such a high when I won my no gi match, and I was like, oh great, this is awesome. And then I lost my gi match because like I was on like this high, and I was like, oh, I completely forgot what I was supposed to do here.
Which is funny because I feel like you'd logged more hours up until that point in gi than in no gi. At least going up into that tournament. So it's funny that
I did. I thought I had the gi in the bag.
You're like, just give me those grips. I'm good to go. So,
but that was a smaller comp too, and like I really like my main goal right now is like I want to compete in IBJJF, even though like so many even with all the rules and stuff like that, like it's still like something I really want to do once this is all over.
Yeah, for sure. So what? So I think I kind of interrupted you. You said you were rolling with people, like your goal was just to get better. Was it just kind of a gradual, like, hey, I kind of like this competition bug's kind of come, or was there like you saw someone else compete and you're like, well, shit, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, how did that? Was it a gradual thing? Was it kind of like an epiphany you just had? Like, what got you into actually signing up? Because a lot of people talk. We've encountered, oh yeah, I'm going to compete, and then they back out for some reason.
I started doing research, man. I started watching videos, and the videos are from competitions, and seeing how awesome everyone felt like after they won a competition. Like I wanted that. I never felt that before. I was never like, I had never had like a big accomplishment, honestly. I wanted it.
Did you play any sports as a child?
No, I lived in no, I didn't play any sports. I threw a hell of a baseball pitch, but I didn't join any sports teams. I was an art kid, you know.
Okay. Gotcha.
So this was like the first official like sport that I felt really good in. And when I started noticing that I was getting better and I started noticing I was like, you know, tapping people out, I was like, man, this would be awesome. Like if I freaking brought home a medal, I'd be so proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted. Like I wanted that sense of accomplishment.
So when what was it like getting ready for that first? Was it a new breed or a Naga?
The first one was tap cancer out. The second one was new breed.
Oh, the one I competed in.
Yes.
Okay, that one. Okay, yeah, okay.
The one where I hurt my back.
So what was it like getting ready for that? Like how did you? Because when some people are competing, Paul will be like, all right, you guys start standing and try to up the intensity and start to simulate. So what was like? When did you sign up? So that's the first question. How many weeks out from the tournament date or the match date did you sign up?
I think it was a month.
Okay.
I think I signed up a month prior.
So how were those 4 weeks?
It was definitely cool. I liked the experience of preparing for a competition because it's not like regular classes. It's like, you know, anyone who is instructing, whether it be like Chris or Paul, would be like, all right, 4 people stand out. We're all going to take turns and, you know, stand up and try to sweep or try to take down or something like that. Like drills like that, I felt like made me a lot better. Even after competition, obviously, that was something that would stick with you. When you're doing regular classes and you're just drilling and stuff like that, you know, it's not as intense.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
Upping the intensity and making it more competitive gave you that competitive edge. So I thought it was fun. It was hard. It was hard as heck, but it was fun.
And what was how are you like on match day? When did the injury happen? Did it happen prior or I don't remember?
The night before.
The night before, okay.
The night before, I felt like my back was hurting, and I had stretched like all day to try to loosen it, and it wouldn't budge. So like, man, I get so like frustrated when I think about it because like I remember being on the ground and the girl being on top of me, and like I could really like I literally could roll her over, but I couldn't turn in that direction.
I remember you telling me that. I remember looking at you when you were grappling and you just seemed way more stationary.
I was like, I can't move. The nerve in my back hurts. Like, I guess, like, I could have withdrawn, but, like, I felt like I was preparing for this all month, and I was like, no, I just want to do it. Mm-hmm. Like, I could have taken my name out, but I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm here. I want to do it. Let's do it. So I tried, and I did not.
I mean, that's part of it, right? But I mean, you can't. You went out there and you tried. And you did the best. So then you got to avenge that in the new breed. So what was that? The euphoria victory. How did that match go? Because I didn't get to see that match up close because so many people went on at the same time, and I think someone told me like, oh, go, you know, someone needs support over there, and then the next thing I know, like I think there were like 8 matches, so I'm like, well, wait a minute, Michelle's over there in Nogi, you know? And
yeah. It went pretty good. It was really hard because I think the couple weeks leading up to it is when we really started learning leg locks. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh, you know, we thought these are really cool, but like we can't use these in competition. So we had to like rearrange what we remember in terms of moves. Like, wait, we just learned this, but we can't use that in competition or we're going to get disqualified. So there was a moment in my competition where like you can clearly see that I could have had like a knee bar and like I had to like let go of the knee. Like I had to let go of the leg and like try to do something else. Like it was just.
Well, wasn't there like a moment where someone had single leg X and was starting to reap, and the ref stopped and said, "Don't reap," but he didn't disqualify anyone. He just said reset. You know, like
Yeah.
he's like, now
No, he
don't
didn't
do
even
this.
say reset. He didn't say reset. Well, I can't remember. Did he? If he said reset, or if he like?
I just mean like he moved it out and was like, "Don't
Yeah,
do that."
he moved the
And
leg.
he's like, "No."
Yeah. Like, oh crap, sorry. Because like in our gym, like when we were messing around and doing foot locks and stuff like that, we didn't really kind of take seriousness into that part, and in terms of reaping, like, oh yeah, that'd be reaping, but we didn't say, oh, you can't do that, restart. We kind of just went with the flow, did what we did. But so sometimes I would forget, like, that's reaping.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's still hard sometimes because I have to remember, wait, where's my leg? Let me make sure that I'm not reaping, and that's
there's
something
the
you have to
rule
keep in mind.
sets. The rule set. Well, it sounds like the gym you're at, they're more cognizant of the rule set, so you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember texting you, or I think I was like, "Hey, how's it going up there?" And you was like, I don't think you used the word scolded. I got admonished or scolded for toe holding someone. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And in all caps, it's like, what?
I was like, I can't, like, are you really? Like, I can't even toe hold while we're just rolling and messing around? No? Okay, sorry.
So
different rules, different gyms.
Is that just because you were rolling with, is it who you're doing it to, or is what the belt you're wearing? So it's like, if you do that to a black belt, okay, because they know toe holds. Is that how they're doing it? Like if you were doing it to another blue belt, then they don't expect a blue belt to know that because of the rule set? Or is it because you're a blue belt, you're not allowed to do it?
It might be both, because honestly, like, I toe holded the 2 brown belts on like my first day. So, or I attempted to. I went straight for the foot.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, did you just sub 2 brown belts right away with toe hold? Did you just sub and tell?
They were just like, wait a minute, what the fuck are you, like, wait a minute. This little blue belt is trying to toe hold us?
Oh, wow. They're like, wow, this person's going prison rules right off the bat. Look at this.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like my first day, and then I guess as I was going, the one that I got scolded for toe holding was another blue belt. So I don't know if it was because of our levels. Like, wait a minute, you guys, calm down. You don't know how to defend that. You might hurt each other.
Maybe there's like a math formula. It's like the combined belt ranks have to be above purple or something.
It might have even been the instructor themselves that were like, no, I don't really know. I was kind of too embarrassed to ask. I was just like, oh, my bad.
Dude, I can only imagine like what, because I told Eric right away, and I can only imagine like Eric's reaction. Like if he drops in and he's just rolling, and then he starts grabbing toe holds and stuff, and people are like, what are you doing? I mean, he would lose it.
Yeah. Mind you, my gym has a leg lock class. Like, they have a leg lock class, but it's no gi. So if I'm coming straight from a leg lock class and going to gi class, like, my brain's going to be tuned to leg locks. So,
well, is there much difference between the people that do gi versus like submission grappling at your gym? Like, is there much cross-pollination like our gym?
There is. There's a couple people who are like strictly no gi, that's it. But I do see a lot more experience in no gi. Like, there will be people who are pretty darn good at no gi but are like white belts in gi. So I feel like maybe that's where they started and then started doing gi.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really heavy on no gi at where that is.
Gotcha.
But when I heard that leg lock class, I was like, oh, this is gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. How many black belts are up there, roughly?
2? I think there's 2 that I've seen in that gym. There's 2, and then maybe 2 or 3 brown belts. There's not that many.
Interesting. What have
It's
you?
not a heavy jiu-jitsu environment as it is in Florida, honestly. Because in Florida, there are so many jiu-jitsu gyms all over the place for some reason. At least that's what I've noticed. Like there was maybe three or how many are in Orlando? Like 4 or 5?
Oh, geez. I mean, it depends on how wide you draw the circle. You know.
Exactly. There's in every section of town there is some sort of jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah, for sure.
So I haven't really felt that it's that strong vibe here yet. So I don't know.
Okay.
Then again, I haven't looked into like every town to see if there's jiu-jitsu gyms or whatever, but yeah, I don't. At least in my gym, there's only like two black belts, two brown belts that I've seen or that I've rolled with. So there could be more, but I've never seen them.
Yeah. Fair enough. What is in terms of like the schedule? I know our gym in Orlando is particularly heavy on classes, more so than even other gyms in Orlando. What's like the jiu-jitsu schedule in terms of offerings like during the week? Like, do they have like a day and an afternoon class? Like, I guess here's my first question: do they offer gi every day, or do they do gi like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then put submission grappling on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
I think there's like 1, 2, 3. There was like 4 or 5 gi classes throughout the week, and then like it would be like gi and no gi, leg lock class, gi class. You know, so I think it was a fair amount because I remember sending you the schedule to show you because I was like, oh look, like this is how
Okay, yeah.
I'm getting plenty of both because you know over there it was like two or three no-gi classes and one of those being just the drilling on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
So and then just the two gi classes. So and this one I was like, oh look, they have plenty of no-gi classes to do too. So I think it was a good distribution of both.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going an hour. I'm happy to keep talking if you want, but we have to do another like IG session because they cap it at an hour.
Oh, okay.
You want to stick around and talk a little more?
Yeah, that's fine. Good.
All right. We won't go.
And we're back.
Yeah, look at this. So I got the inspiration. Have you seen how Laborio's been doing these like every day?
No. I get the alerts, but like I'm usually doing something at a time, so I haven't been able to click on them. Why? Is this what he's doing?
Yeah, he does this every day, and so he's like interviewing people like with I think like not only is he interviewing people for himself because I think of the UCF BJJ club for working with like Black Belt Magazine, whatever. A lot of people are asking him, but he's there in the same office wearing the same UCF hat with his salt and pepper beard. He's always doing this, and he looks like Jiu-Jitsu Santa Claus. You know what I mean? It's like if Santa Claus was jacked and had a more trim beard and stuff, but he's interviewing people. It's awesome. So anyway, he's been doing that, and I was like, dude, like everyone can do this. So it's like, well, I want to do that. So we tried to record a podcast on Sunday or Saturday rather, and it was absolutely horrendous. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this Instagram live thing, and I actually hit up Chihuahua too, and Chihuahua. I hit him up and he responded right away. And then he's like, bro, you got to give me at least a day's notice, bro. I was like, but what are you doing right now? He's like, nothing. So I have no idea what
was he in his right mind?
I have no idea. I don't know what state of mind he was in. I don't know what he was wearing or not wearing. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that you have to talk to my agent, my representative to schedule.
Where is he now? Is he still in New York?
He's in New York City and not working, I think. I don't know. I kind of wanted to find out. That's why I wanted to talk to him. But he keeps bringing up Jamie's arm and how he armbarred it twice. So I don't know, man. It's still too wild. I told him, like, you need to come back here, man. We'll be happy. I told him we'll kick your ass for half the price you're paying to go to Marcelo's gym. You know what I mean? So But he's a character. We miss you, Chihuahua. So, what I didn't get to ask you yet, and this was kind of the thing I did want to ask you. I like to ask everybody this that we have on. What are your, in 2020 is kind of shitty because of the curveball, but like, what are your goals for 2020, or what were your goals for 2020 rather? You know, because maybe that got affected by the pandemic. And like, what are your jiu-jitsu goals?
I know I touched on it because me and you talk all the time about like how jiu-jitsu is going and stuff like that. So, I'm trying to move down weight classes because, like I said before, being a girl in jiu-jitsu on certain locations, it's very hard to find people to compete with because I am not small. I'm not tiny. And when you go up when you go up belt colors, like it seems like the weight classes strictly stick to below middle. Okay. And so I'm just trying to work my way. Like, I know I'm not going to be this light feather girl. That's never going to happen.
Do you think you can realistically compete in a weight class and still be healthy and the right weight and body composition for your frame?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like I said, there's no way in hell that I'm going to get into light featherweight, lightweight, and be strong enough or compete. So it's going to be difficult. But when in my last competition, you know, I did drop weight for that. And like, I think it was cutting it close because I had like a few more pounds to drop, and I literally joined a gym just so I can use the sauna the day before to get off that water weight.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I just had like a couple more pounds to drop, and I was like, all right, let me just do this. And then, but I fought great that day. Like, I felt good that day. So I think if I can drop down to at least that weight and just stick to it and be able to compete in that weight, I would feel great. Like, freaking, I follow, you know, Cyborg.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, his fiance.
With Cyborg? Male jiu-jitsu Cyborg? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes, male jiu-jitsu Cyborg. Not the other one.
Not MMA champ Cyborg. Okay.
Yeah. His fiance, Maggie Grinaldi.
Yep.
Like, I follow her. She weighs 160. Like, she looks amazing, and she's strong as hell. Like, oh, yeah. That's my weight class. So I'm just trying to, you know, lose the fat, gain the muscle. So, you know, obviously I'm not going to be freaking 18% body fat. That's ridiculous because, you know, I like tacos too much, but if I can get down there, that would be great. And, you know, have that as my walking weight, that'd be great. So I mean, I have a few more pounds to go to get there. And then like, if I can just have that maintained, that way when jiu-jitsu does come back and I'll be ready. But that's probably my main goal is to get to that healthy weight and maintain that healthy weight, and then be able to sign up for competitions and be able to actually compete against more than one person, because, you know, paying $100 for a competition just to, you know, grapple one person for 2 matches because there's no one else in that weight class is
it's a letdown. It's a letdown.
Yeah.
And it's shitty because it's not like they changed the entry fee or anything. You're still paying $100 or $85.
Exactly. Like, if I can grapple guys, I grapple guys. Like, let me grapple the guys. I'm perfectly fine with grappling the guys.
Yeah.
As long as they're in my weight class.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with the whole. It's weird for me because I came from, and I told this other people, like, I come from the tennis world where there's weight classes don't exist in tennis. It's not like a weight class is going to have any advantage. So everyone is just in the same bracket. So when you, even as a kid, you're going to have at least 16, 32 people in a tournament bracket. So you're going to get matches, you know, and they guarantee you at least 2. That's if you just, you know, lose 2, you'll get at least 2 matches. But because jiu-jitsu tournaments break up everybody by belt rank, obviously, but then also by age and weight, it's like you can have 500 people sign up for a tournament and they'll be like, one person in this division, one person in that division.
Yeah.
And then they have to start moving. This happens to you all the time. It's like, well, there's this lightweight that has to get bumped up, or you get to have bumped up and go with someone that's like 190 or something. Like, it's just, it's.
And the weight classes are like ridiculous. Like I can be like 161 and I'd go at, like you said, I'd go against someone who is freaking 185 or something. And I'm like, okay, that's a big weight distribution, especially for like females. Cause it's like, unless you're all muscle, like that's going to be a big person.
And that's a big percentage. Like, I mean, 20 pounds is a big percentage of 65, 70, or 170 pounds. That's like a big percentage of it. So, I think if people could be guaranteed, like, oh, I'm going to have like 5 people in my bracket, 6 people in my bracket, then you feel a little more comfortable putting the money down, But I know a lot of people, like Mike Sahibi's, will mention to me, like, I think, like he won't sign up because he'll wait. He'll be like, I'm waiting for, but then I think everyone's waiting. So it's like all these grapplers are waiting. Like, I'm not going to sign up because refunds are kind of tricky. They just give me credit. Most of the time, they're like, we'll give you credit for another new breed or another Naga. And it's like, well, I'm waiting.
That's what happened. That's what happened when I wanted to sign up for IBJJF because no one was in my weight class. And I'm like, I'm not paying this money to do this competition if no one's going to be in my weight class. So I'm just going to wait and see if anyone's in my weight class. And then by the time I was like, all right, let me sign up because there's like 3 girls in my weight class, 3 people in my weight class in all of Orlando. And then, what is it? I think entries were full or something and I couldn't. Yeah. I was like, there's 3 people in that weight class and you're telling me that I can't sign up for it because all the other weight classes are full?
That's crazy. I didn't know that part of the story. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't, like, yeah, we're all full over here, but there are only 3 people here and we're not going, that doesn't make sense. So what about like jiu-jitsu goals? Like you told me, like this is like one, obviously the jiu-jitsu goal is I want to drop this weight to get myself into a weight class that allows me to compete, hopefully with a bigger population of female jiu-jitsu practitioners. What about other jiu-jitsu goals, like belt ideas, like,
Dude, I wanted my purple belt by the end of the year. I was like, man, if I work hard enough and I show them what I got, like I can do this. I can do it. But from the way things are looking, that's gonna be on a little bit. But it's fine because, like, I know it's a little rusty at stuff. Mm-hmm. So obviously, got to get the hang of that a little more. But man, I wanted that purple so bad.
How many stripes do you have right now?
Huh?
How many stripes do you have on your blue belt?
Do I have 3?
Oh man, we definitely have not been grappling for a while. You're like, I don't even know. It's 3 or 4. I want to say it's 4. But
hold on 1 second.
Yeah, we're gonna have to verify this.
What?
No, nothing. I can hear you. There you go. I'm pretty sure you have 4. Because I think, when did you got promoted with Victor, right?
I left October.
No, when did you get your blue belt? I'm saying you got promoted with Victor.
August.
With Victor, I'm pretty sure.
Hold on, I have my belt.
Yes, verify.
Where's my belt?
Normally the belt would be like within like arm's reach, but after 2 months. But did a 4th one fall off? Maybe a 4th one fell off.
No, the strings, the tape falls off of my belts a lot.
Okay.
So it's like tied up a lot.
Okay. All right. So you got 3. Yeah, I mean, I think getting purple by the end of the year in a normal year is a real reasonable one, especially with the amount of time you train and stuff,
Say that again?
I mean, I think when to get a purple by the end of the year in normal circumstances is a totally reasonable goal, given how much you train, Are there any other, I mean, you told me that there are not that many women at your gym that train jiu-jitsu.
Here?
Have you grappled with any up there? Yeah.
Yes, but white belts, like they're new.
Okay. So
So
you have to bring them into jiu-jitsu. You have to foster them. Like, come here, my
listen,
child. I will take it easy on you. Then
I
I will smash you later.
I would, and that's what I've been trying to do. I'm like, I'm not trying to be too aggressive, like off the bat, because if you just started, like that's gonna be kind of discouraging, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Gotta show them the true power of jiu-jitsu. Show them true
Well,
breaking
you know,
pressure.
in our gym, like in ATT Orlando, we have, you know, higher belt girls. We have girls that are there all the time, blue belts, purple belts. Honestly, I haven't seen a brown belt in our. Did we have a brown belt? No,
No.
it was only blue and purple.
Yep.
But at least I saw more upper belts. I think girls here are getting into it more. Who knows? There might be other upper belt girls there, but I have not rolled with them yet, or I have not seen them the times that I've gone. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. So one other thing I wanted to I want to touch on, and this is totally up to you how much you want to like give your thoughts on this. But I've always been impressed with your honesty and openness when it's come to like mental health issues
Mm-hmm.
and how jiu-jitsu has helped your mental health and stuff. I'm not asking you to go into your details, but can you just talk about how jiu-jitsu has helped your mental health? Because that's, you know, I've heard you say that on many occasions. It's like, you know, I remember the ad. It's like I roll for my mental health. You know what I mean? And it really helps me. And we opened this conversation talking about that to a little bit. You touched on that. So it's something that I feel like we all know to some degrees, but it means different things. Like the baggage we all carry is different baggage, right? And how
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu helps us is gonna be unique to that person and their baggage. But again, I'm not asking you to go into details, but I'm just asking you like what did jiu-jitsu bring to you in that aspect to your life? Because I know you've been positive about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty open when it comes to that stuff. I have a little history with abuse. So I think starting off young, I had like this mentality that I can't control anything, and I can't defend myself. And I was always very quiet. I never spoke.
I can't imagine that because, I mean, you talk shit with the best of us. You know what I mean? You're not going to instigate necessarily, but if someone starts talking shit, you're like quick to come back. You're like, hey, man.
Oh my God, I'm like ready to defend someone anytime, any day. Let me get out, you know, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But like before, I was not like that. So I became very withdrawn and very in myself. So like I was very antisocial. Like I said, I had anxiety, depression, eating disorders, stuff like that. But I think when I started jiu-jitsu, it was a lot of pent-up emotions that I had, that I was finally able to let out somehow. I know that's like so cliche to say, but like that's literally the reality of it. Like there was nowhere else in the world that I can try to act tough or be tough or try to fight my way against something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was always taught to be seen and not heard, or, you know, like don't act a certain way or you're going to seem a certain way, or, you know, it's hard to describe that. But I think with jiu-jitsu, it was letting go of a lot of things, but it was also having a lot of control. And I needed both of those.
And being in a safe space where you could act a way that you didn't necessarily feel comfortable acting that way in other circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That helped me. It helped me control. It helped me learn control, and it helped me to let go of a lot. So, even, jujitsu, when I was doing kickboxing, when I was, learning to throw punches, like, before I didn't really, like, I remember getting threatened to get jumped in high school. And, like, I didn't have any confidence that I would win if I got jumped, but, like, I was very quiet. I didn't talk. And rather than, like, start a fight or throw punches or something, I would just, like, smile at the girls, like, quietly. Like, they never actually jumped me, but it was more like trying to scare them away with my craziness, I guess. So that was how I got by then. But, like, now, like, if someone tries to start a fight with me,
you're like,
I'm like ready to go. I'm ready to throw hands. I will choke you with your own shirt. Try me.
No, that's the thing. Like, I noticed very, very quickly that you have no problem with talking shit. So that adds to the fun of our role, especially towards the end. We would talk a lot of shit while we're trying to rip each other's limbs off. Well,
I miss that so much, man.
I know.
I haven't found, like, partners comfortable enough to do that with. Like, once in a while, like,
shit when you're rolling adds another dimension. Like, being at that comfort level with people, it's like, if someone passes, like, with certain people I'm comfortable with, like, if they pass my guard, like, I'll actually say fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, like, this sucks. What about early on? How did you handle the intimacy of jiu-jitsu, or the claustrophobia of jiu-jitsu? Because that's something we all confront on the first day, and it's not something we usually deal with in other walks of life. So what was that like for you?
Man, that brought a whole meaning to, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, that's the one thing I remember them telling me when I had, like, that intro to jiu-jitsu. When they showed me a couple moves, they're like, yeah, you have to, like, I forgot exactly what they showed me on that first day, but I remember thinking it was kind of weird, and I was like, I was contemplating it, and the girl that showed me it was like, like, in jiu-jitsu, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, that stuck with me, because when someone is on top of you and you can't move, that is the worst feeling, okay? Even to this day, like, if someone mounts me and like, they have good balance, and there's, like, I'm trying to bump them off, and I'm trying to, that that meme with the exorcist, and he's like, your coach is telling you to bump and shrimp, and, like, you can't do it. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes bumping and shrimping will not work with certain people. So you have to be comfortable with someone being that close proximity to you. You have to be comfortable with being under someone and not being able to move and trying to think while that's happening. And I think I needed that, because that's part of my PTSD personally.
Mm-hmm.
So having someone that close to me and, like, touching me, and, like, I barely hug people. Jesus, like, having someone on top of me where I can't move is, like, a nightmare.
Sure.
So when I started learning that, I started learning how to breathe. That helped my anxiety like crazy. Like, you wouldn't think, like, having something that you would think makes your anxiety worse would actually help your anxiety, at least in that aspect. Like, I had to learn how to breathe if someone was on top of me, because, I also have that mentality where I ain't no bitch. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to tap the pressure.
Well, and that's actually a really interesting point, because I didn't think of it that way, that just what you learn, especially early on, from being in a bad position, being in side control, being mounted, where people are putting a lot of weight on you and you're really struggling to get out, that being able to relax and breathe is a skill that translates beyond just the mats, and not exhausting yourself. Because I learned that, because you don't want to exhaust yourself. You're like, you're in a shitty position, flailing around is not going to do anything. You need to pick your moment and be smart, but you got to breathe and relax. But it makes perfect sense that you said it, that translates outside the mats too, to other situations, you know, and helps managing anxiety, stress, that sort of stuff. What's your advice for women that want to try jiu-jitsu?
Do it, please.
I need more people to smash.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of females would think it's more of a guy thing, and I get that. It's because, you know, it's heavily populated by guys, but I don't know how to explain this, but like, yes, there are typically more guys. There's more guys than girls at you know, ATT Orlando. There's more guys and girls at the gym that I train at now, but it feels so good when you're able to beat a guy. Like, I'm sorry, but that is the truth of it. Like, if I beat a guy, I'm feeling pretty damn good about myself that day. Like, yeah, I tapped him out.
Yeah.
It's a good sense of accomplishment, and it's also great to learn how to defend yourself. Like, that is essential in this society for a female. Like, I myself have been assaulted. I've gone through shit. So it's like, learning to do something that's effective in defending yourself makes you that much more tougher when facing a situation like that. And I think every female needs to have that in the back of their mind. Otherwise you freeze up. And I've done that too. Like, you freeze up, you're like, crap, I don't know. But like I said, I will choke you with your orange shirt. If I have a necklace, I will choke you with that too.
Jonah Wick.
I have flannels around my waist. I will find a way.
That's awesome. What's your thought on a women's only jiu-jitsu class?
There's pros and cons. There have been some days where I really just rolled with girls. And I think we're a lot, if we're like friends, it doesn't get too competitive, and we're just like, you know, hanging out, or not hanging out, but like, you know, flowing a lot. Or I don't know. I think the sense of competitiveness is driven away when it comes to just isolating and like girls just roll with girls kind of thing. But it's like, I feel like being more inclusive is a lot better. Like, it's more variety, more people. I personally like them being more inclusive, because it's different people, different styles, more competitive. I personally have not been in an all-girls class before, so I don't know how it is, and I don't know how the girls there are. I know if the girls from ATT Orlando were in one class, like, I don't know how that would be either, because a lot of girls are smaller, you know? It's either really small or not small. And I don't know. It's just, there's not too many girls in the gyms that I've been in to have like a girls only class.
Sure. I mean, I've asked this to a number of women grapplers, and more tend to say what you say, where it's like, I want to roll with everybody. You know, it's not a big deal. But where I have seen people, the one thread that comes out of that is maybe at the beginning, to get more women into a gym, maybe it is perceived as a safer environment if they're in a women's only class. This is where other women grapplers have told me that, like, maybe just to get people in, they're like, okay, I'm not dealing with these crazy testosterone raging guys and all their issues, and our fucking ego with like, oh God, I'm never going to tap to a woman, that sort of thing, like being emasculated, you know, all that bullshit.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely see that point of view, and there are also females out there who do not feel comfortable being in that close proximity to a guy at the time, you know. So in those cases, yes, it would be beneficial to have an all girls class. I do see that side of things, but if you're like trying to get into competing or stuff like that, like it's good to be inclusive. It's good to have all those styles. It's good to have all those different kind of people, because I don't know, like if I was like rolling with you or Victor or someone, or you know, you guys push me, so you guys would make me work.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to rip your foot off.
Many
I
times.
remember that first day too, where you went for my foot, and it was Pandora's box opening, and since then, it was a mad fight.
When Paul walks by and he's just like,
what the fuck you knuckleheads doing over there? Oh my goodness. What have you been doing to keep busy during this pandemic? I'm winding down now, but I'm just kind of curious about that.
What I've been doing?
Yeah, like what hobbies have been doing to kind of keep busy?
Dude, I still work. Like I'm still working. I work full time. I come home.
Which is
my
great.
homework.
That's awesome. Not everyone can say that, so
yeah.
you know, I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
I do my home workouts.
Oh, so wait a minute. You don't work from home. You actually go into an office or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're considered an essential worker?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yep. So I go home. I do my home workouts, and I am currently doing online school, so I do that too. So I'm studying psychology to work with kids with autism. So I'm doing psychology homework and stuff like that after I work out. So I'm keeping pretty busy, I would say.
Damn, no, yeah. I mean, honestly, finding time for jiu-jitsu and that schedule seems like you know, you got to make an effort there. What how if things go well, when do you expect to get your degree in psychology?
I just started, so 2020 through what time? 2024.
Okay.
Because I was trying to do accounting, and then I switched over to psychology because of my current job, and realizing how much I would love to do what they're doing at my job and over my majors. But like, man, I've been trying to train myself to wake up a lot earlier. Like my mental alarm clock has me waking up a lot earlier than I was before. So I'm like, all right, if I can keep this up, I can wake up early to do a quick workout, then go to work, then come home and do my homework, and then do jiu-jitsu when it comes back.
Oh, wow. Damn, look at you.
I'm trying to fit it all in there.
All disciplined and stuff, doing the morning stuff. Dang, that's crazy. That's awesome. Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It was great to catch up. Do you have any parting words for any of your friends down here that miss you? Stacy, I don't know if you can see the chat. I guess you can.
I can. I just saw.
Okay.
I just saw who joined.
Okay, well that too. But I just saw that. I want to make sure. Stacy said, you know, come on back, and you know, we talk about JB leaving, and that sucked, and Jovan is now going to be going to Gainesville, so he's not going to be around. But you leaving was also a loss to the gym. So, do you have any words for anybody down here?
Oh my God, I miss all of my training partners. I miss you, Stacy. I miss you, Amanda. I saw you guys.
Yeah, I know they miss you too, for sure.
Like I had a certain level of comfort at the gym, and you guys pushed me a lot, and my friends in Orlando were mainly from the gym. So it's hard moving somewhere where you don't have that anymore. So like, and I didn't get enough time to be acquainted with my new gym to have that again.
Sure.
So it sucks, but gotta do what you gotta do. But I definitely miss everyone, and like Like every time I see like videos of you guys rolling, I'm like, man, I wish I was there. This sucks.
Is I mean, is there a possibility that you come back to Florida at some point? Maybe you have a psychology degree and you get a fancy new job down in Orlando or something?
Dude, I definitely do plan on going back down there for a visit after everything is over because right now it's like at a point where it's like if you go anywhere you'd have to like self-quarantine for 14
Sure.
days. So we kind of got to wait until all that's over before I even make a trip down there because you know like my parents live in Florida. Obviously my friends are in Florida right now, so it'd be great to like take a week and visit everyone.
Hell
So,
yeah, definitely.
but definitely have to wait for everything to calm down.
No, I understand. Michelle, thank you so much. You're awesome. I miss our leg lock battles.
Oh my God.
I miss the trash talking.
Me too. I can't wait until I can trash talk other people.
But yeah, don't be a stranger, and thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. See ya.
Bye. Miss you guys.